George Lucas's Star Wars were so innovative that director Lucas needed to form his own effects facility to meet his creative demands. That workshop, Industrial Light and Magic, has gone on to win 11 Oscars. But Star Wars remains its greatest achievement.
I'm going in. Are you all right? I got a little cooked, but I'm okay.
ILM Director of Post-Production, Ed Jones.
I think ILM's its own worst enemy in certain cases because we're always giving an objective, and that objective is to try to invent something new, to try to create something new. With that, you know, we never say no. And it's not in our vocabulary. We'll say we'll make it work. I think that's what Star Wars brought to the movie-going audience. It was a renaissance of visual effects. People sat through the first Star Wars. They walked out and they said, "Oh, that was a roller coaster ride. What happened?" You know, and they got back in line. And everyone was just blown away by that type of imagery.
This scene was both seamless and exhilarating. The power trench, as it was called by those working on the film, was actually just a matte painting, but you'd never know it from watching the film. Disney's head of visual effects, Harrison Ellenshaw.
The whole idea of the interior of a Death Star and especially when they jump, they swing across the power trench, was that this thing had to go down forever. Well, you can't build going down forever. So fortunately, somebody said, well, we can use matte paintings to make it go down forever. The interesting thing was that they also wanted us to add the lasers out of their guns. He shoots real quickly at some Imperial troops that are across from him. And so we actually went in and inscribed on the bit of glass and did little hand reveals for these lasers to go through.
One of the top 10 grossing films of all time, Star Wars was also responsible for the greatest technical breakthrough in modern film history. The process was called motion control, and it allowed simple models to create the illusion of intergalactic flight. ILM's 7-time Oscar winner, Dennis Muren.
Once I realized that what you could do with these tools were essentially with the computer control camera, and you've got a cameraman there who's shooting all the separate elements of the scene, you know, all blue screen, and combining them later on. And that cameraman was controlling the motions of all the elements and the compositions of all of them. You've got one person designing the shot. So it's all going through one person's mind, and you've got, you know, it's like you're making a cartoon with models. There's no randomness. There's no throwing models past the camera or sliding things down wires or stagehands, you know, doing their best to get something to explode at a certain time. You're building up the shot layer by layer through one person's mind, and that was really a wonderful, powerful thing.
There is a great shot in Star Wars where people will clap, and people have said it's because it's such a great effect. And we all know what it is. It's the jump to light speed. That is probably the simplest effect in the entire film. It's probably the simplest effect in the last 20 years. George Lucas likened it to the good guys are driving down the freeway in a Corvette, and they're going like 60 miles an hour. They're going pretty fast, and the bad guys come up behind them in big black limousines, and they start shooting at them. And the good guy, the hero, with the square jaw says, watch this. He shifts down into third, floors it, the thing spins its tires for a quarter of a mile and leaves the bad guys in a cloud of dust. And everybody loves that.
Hang on tight, R2. You've got to come back. You wouldn't want my life to get boring, would you?
Star Wars also introduced us to a couple of robots named C-3PO and R2-D2. These futuristic robots have their origins in the earliest science fiction films.
This is no offense, but you are a robot, aren't you? That is correct, sir.
The 1956 science fiction film Forbidden Planet was ahead of its time. Special effects expert A. Arnold Gillespie's creation, Robbie the Robot, remains one of the best-loved science fiction characters in movie history. Eric Allard was so taken by Robbie the Robot as a kid that he decided to make robots his life. Today, he's one of Hollywood's top robotics designers.
The first robot that ever influenced me was probably Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet, which I watched several times as a kid. I think the thing that really interests people about robots is the fact that you can actually get a personality out of these things.
Nice climate you have here. High oxygen content. I rarely use it myself, sir. It promotes rust.
If you look at a lot of the typical movie robots, even going back to Robbie the Robot, obviously there was a guy in a suit there. If the story is good and it's being properly told, which of course is the most important element of a film, people will believe in the robot. People will believe that that's a robot, even though they may know it's a man in a suit. But I've just tried to take it a step further, and with all the robots we design, we make sure that there's space that defies the parameters of a human body, so there couldn't be somebody in a suit. The arms are too skinny, there's space between the body and the neck, so there couldn't possibly be an actor in there. And yet, we're able to give it a personality by giving it basically the same tools that an actor has.
For the 1986 film Short Circuit, Eric Allard designed a fully articulated robot called Johnny 5.
Disguise, camouflage, hi.
Number 5.
Stephanie, change color. Attractive, nice software.
We ended up building 15 number 5s, of which 8 were fully remote control, and 7 were non-remote control, what we called stunt bots, the ones that we'd push off bridges and push off trucks and that sort of thing. We had 3 that were this Bunraku cable-operated style from the waist up, and then we had 8 miniatures that had steerable parachutes for the scene where he comes off the bridge, and then we had the trash robot that pushes him off the truck, all of which we did in 3.5 months.
Long line drive to deep left center. Heidi's going back for it. He's...
Robot alert. Number 5 located. Engage and capture. Do not destroy. Number 5 access code 29. Stay where you are. Number 5.
Steel
5.
Three.
Stay where you are.
Number 1, you're out of there.
On August 26th, the Star Wars Trilogy Special Edition is coming to video like never before.
You better be right about this.
New scenes.
I'm Lucky Tuesday.
New sound.
I got him!
New special effects.
Most impressive.
The adventure of a lifetime. Yours for all time.
Use the Force, Luke.
Buy the Star Wars Trilogy Special Edition on video.
It is useless to resist.
Available for a limited time only. The Star Wars Trilogy Special Edition is now on video like never before. New scenes.
I'm Lucky Tuesday.
New sound. New special effects. Buy the Star Wars Trilogy Special Edition on video.
There's no denying that Star Wars brought notoriety to the names Hamill, Fisher, and Ford. But what about Bullock, Baker, and Mayhew? What? You've never heard of them? Well, meet the men behind the massive Star Wars. Peter Mayhew, better known as Chewbacca. Jeremy Bullock, a.k.a. Boba Fett.
What if he doesn't survive?
And Kenny Baker, who through all 3 Star Wars films lived the life of robot R2-D2. The trio realizes that their faces will probably never become as well known as their famous alter egos, but no one is complaining.
So at a convention, who's the most popular of the 3 of you?
I think, you know, when they talk about the Wookiee, who's actually the ladies love the Wookiee because he's cuddly. They also like R2-D2, don't they, the ladies, because he's cute. But yeah. Boba Fett has the young lads and grannies.
Boba Fett! Boba Fett!
Bullock's Boba Fett is only on screen in the Star Wars trilogy for about 5 minutes. However, the character's impact on some fans will last a lifetime.
I'm stunned, really, by the popularity of the character, and very flattered the way people said, oh, you've changed my life. You know, to be able to wear a mask and portray something that has become a sort of cult hero, certainly here in America, it's quite staggering.
Lateral control!
Don't worry. We're all together. Hey, baby, all together.
So what did you think of this film while you were making it?
A load of rubbish. Well, I think we all thought so at first, but then I thought, well, Alec Guinness is in the movie, and you wouldn't get Alec Guinness putting his name to a load of rubbish, would you? Really? Unless you knew what he was getting into. So I thought, well, if he's in it, it must be something good.
So did you have anything in the helmet to keep you amused?
They were going to put a row of optics inside, you know, gin, whiskey, brandy. Just for laughs, you know. And one day somebody put page 3 girls all around the head inside the robot. Centerfold pictures all around the inside. When I was so close, I was like cross-eyed like this. Trying to see.
What direction, if any, did you get from George Lucas when you made the film?
He described the character as an anthropoidic bear. And the only thing he couldn't do was talk.
Get in there, you big polio! I don't care what you smell! Get in there!
Han knew what he was talking about because they'd been together a long time. 3PO knew, and by the end of the movie, everybody else had a good idea what he was talking about.
What are you doing? You're not actually going into an asteroid field.
They'd be crazy to follow us, wouldn't they?
What is the downside of being in the Star Wars movies?
I don't think there is a downside.
No, there isn't. Definitely not.
Just see people's faces when they come out and say, did you really play Bob? Oh, and you know, I mean, it's lovely to see it.